Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. In the 2 o'clock hour every single Tuesday, we get on to New Orleans, talk to our guy Sharief Ishaq, WDSU. Sharief, how we doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Look, today's news didn't help, but I think we knew that Eric McCoy was going to be out for some time after suffering that groin injury. 6 to 8 weeks. It's tough. It's tough, man. That's the one position we said before the season started they couldn't afford to have any kind of injuries or setbacks. And 3 games into the season, they have their biggest setback on that offensive line.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. How much of the ineffectiveness of the Saints running game on Sunday would you apply to the fact that Eric McCoy wasn't there for all but 3 snaps?
Well, yes and no. Yes, it definitely affected it, but, no, because you have to give credit to that defensive line. And Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, the 2 Georgia guys, were just absolutely eating them alive. I think had he been there, it would have helped a little bit, but I just thought that, like I told you last week, what they would do, they would stack that line, and Vic Fangio would try to disguise their defense and do anything as much as possible to put as many guys in pressure on Derek Carr in that run game, and they did exactly that. But, yeah, it hurts. It hurts not to have, Eric McCoy in a game like that, but at the same time, you have to, hate the cliche, but you do have to give that defensive line and Vic Fangio a lot of credit for how they schemed it up and really shut down Alvin Kamara. He had almost, 29 carries?
Yeah, they tried.
30 carries, they tried, but they just, couldn't get it done.
Do you think a lot of teams can replicate that, or that's just a deal where Philly's got a lot of talent and they got a good coordinator and they were a tough matchup?
Well, now it's the point of, can Klint Kubiak gets punched in the mouth? Can he now adapt and adjust? And if those teams are going to adapt and do the same thing, now he has to adjust and adapt. They're going to try. Let's see what Klint Kubiak is made of, because he was like the hero the first 2 weeks of you don't have to pay for anything in the city of New Orleans ever again. To the point where you're like, okay, maybe you got to pay for a few things now, but but we knew. In the locker room after the game, they knew adversity was going to hit. They were never going to score 40+ points a game. At this point, let's see if Klint can adjust, because he's without his best offensive lineman for 6 to 8 games. So let's see. I'm a little worried, but not ready to hit the red button just yet, the panic button.
How do you think they replace him? Who goes to center? I know it was Patrick on Sunday. Do they move Ruiz in there? How do they handle center and the 2 guard spots now?
No, I think they go as is. They keep Lucas Patrick there. They keep Ruiz where he is. And the next position, the next part becomes who takes Lucas Patrick's part. Do they go Ali Uday? They just go, Nick Stalderberry. But I think they're going to stick to the same lineup they had once Eric McCoy left the game. Signing a guy now, really, you're only signing him for depth at this point, because can they come in and play right away? Probably not. So I'm thinking they're going to stick with the same offensive line they stuck with during that Philly game after McCoy went out.
Any concerns with Derek Carr on Sunday?
No, I just think, man, look, that offensive line got eaten alive. People were mad he threw that ball. Even I said, honestly, he shouldn't have thrown that ball. 3 guys were in his face. Maybe he should have eaten it. Maybe he should have thrown it away to the outside. Never throw the ball with a single high safety. He was just playing out center field, waiting for you to throw the ball. No, I'm not concerned. Like I said, he was never going to be the best quarterback for 17 games. It was bound to happen, and they just, Philadelphia defense was tired of hearing about how, the Saints are great and they didn't play well against, the Falcons in the final couple minutes of the game. I just think it was schemed, and they got beat by a good defense.
How was the Dome on Sunday?
Look, I said 2019. It really felt like 2018. It really did feel like. I saw the decibel levels get close to 130. I haven't seen that since 2018 NFC Championship game. 2019 schedule was kind of weak to me at home, but I felt like it was like the NFC Championship game deafening. 15,000 Eagles fans were in there, though. And I am not to tell Saints fans what to do with their tickets and their money, but, because Saints fans do the same thing when they go to Dallas and Atlanta. It's rare to see, home fans really have an entire stadium sold out. I think the only team maybe might be the Chiefs at this point, who, don't really see their fans selling tickets to opposing fans, but it was an electric atmosphere. I enjoy when opposing fans actually show up to the Superdome. It makes it a little bit more hostile, a little bit more fun. So you can see the the back and forth. You can see like Bobby Hebert going at it with the Eagles fans with the Eagle EAGLES chant. They were yelling it back at him after they took the lead there. So it's fun. I thought the atmosphere was great.
All right, you look at Atlanta coming up on Sunday on the road, a noon kickoff, 1 o'clock out in the ATL on Fox. What's one thing you're looking at above all else in this game?
Being able to fight through the adversity now at this point. Can Klint and, Derek get that offense somewhat rolling again? Can they get into the mid-upper 20s? Can they, find that end zone? Because, kicking field goals and your defense giving you the ball that many times, like 6 times if you include the special teams, and only scoring 1 touchdown, just isn't going to cut it. So I'm looking at, them having, see if they can have that balanced offense that is successful. Can they find a way to run the ball a little bit better with this kind of new look offensive line that Eric McCoy is gone? I'm mainly looking at the offense. I'm not really worried about the defense. I think the defense will do what they do. They're going to get after Kirk Cousins. They don't have to worry about a guy who can move the pocket, who can kind of, get outside like Jalen Hurts. But, I understand they have Bijan, but at least you might want to let Kirk try to throw the ball on you and see if he can beat you, because, a standstill quarterback, a guy who sits in the pocket, might be best for them.
Yeah, you look at this Falcons receiving core, Darnell Mooney leads them in yards. You got Drake London, then Raymond McLeod, and obviously Kyle Pitts. I feel like each and every week when I look at the opposition as far as their receiving core goes, I look at it and I go, I think the Saints can definitely hang. Is that kind of the way you feel it most weeks?
I do. I mean, the one thing I am going to be interested to see, you talked about if teams saw what the Saints offense looked like against the Eagles. If they saw what the Eagles offense did to the Saints defense on that final drive, if the Saints get into man, are they going to try using Kyle Pitts against the Saints safeties? Because traditionally the Saints have struggled against safeties, and since the time of football started, beginning of the time, they've had issues with guarding tight ends and safeties. So I do wonder if they try to get a mismatch with Kyle Pitts on one of the Saints safeties and try to roll them across the field and do the same thing if they get into man coverage. But that's the way that the defense they like to play under Dennis Allen, is that man coverage defense. But, I think it's a good matchup. I mean, look, the defense minus Demario Davis is healthy. Now, let's see how serious his injury is, because not having him out there would kind of sting a little bit for the defense. But I think they match up excellent, man. That secondary continues to, show me they can do a lot of things, especially Alontae Taylor.
Chiefs coming up on Monday Night Football the following week. So how big a week is this before you go to Arrowhead against the Falcons?
I hate saying it, man, but I love saying it at the same time. I feel like this is a must-win defining
There
game
you go.
This
I can always get must-win out of Sharief.
Yeah, there you go. I know you wanted me to say it, but I think it's more of a defining game for the season more than a must-win. It's a defining game for both teams. They lose, they go to 1-3. Saints win, they go to 3-1, and it looks like they have a better, path to winning the NFC South. Because, man, I mean, 2-2 is not the end of the world, but then you're going to KC, and you got so many factors going against you whenever you play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I mean, you're let alone playing them at home, but playing them at your place, but you go to their place on a Monday night, crowd, Taylor Swift, if she's there. Officials, which are always like the big issue whenever you play the Chiefs. Mahomes, I mean, you've got to win this game this Sunday. It gets to the point where you have to win. I'm not calling it must win, but I'm calling it maybe a possibly defining game for each team.
Do you think they win?
I do. I said it Sunday after they lost to the Eagles. I said, I know they lost McCoy. They didn't have Taysom Hill. By the way, not having Taysom Hill,
big deal.
Bring that up. That's a big deal. I know everyone's like, so you're really relying on Taysom Hill? Yes, because Taysom Hill, Swiss Army knife for a reason. He can do a lot on that offense. So I think having him back, they should have him back this week. I like the Saints. I really do like the Saints in Atlanta this week after that game. They also the Eagles.
Awesome, Sharief. We appreciate some time, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, man. Anytime.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, always good enough to give us some time talking Saints. And, yeah, I mean, I figured we could fish for that a little bit. I didn't know that he'd give it to me this early. But it's a big, big game because you know that it's going to be difficult to go to Kansas City and win. And
it's a divisional game.
It is a divisional game. You're going to worry about tiebreakers down the line. Likely at some point somebody in this division is. I I just don't know that somebody's going to run off and go win 12 games and get it done like that. So you feel like the last couple of years, it's going to be somewhere in the margins, and this is one of those that you'd really like to sock away. We talked in the first segment of this hour about trying to tread water with Eric McCoy out, and this is going to be a tough one, but one that you can get. And I do early on, I haven't gotten deep into this, but just surface area, I kind of like the matchup because I like the Saints pass rush. Cousins does not move very well. The Falcons have tried to surround Kirk Cousins with a lot of toys, and I feel like the Saints are equipped to match up with toys. They're good on the outside at coverage, and so I think they'll do well there. Question is, can this Falcons defensive front do the things that the Eagles defensive front did to New Orleans? And that remains to be seen. A lot of these guys that play defense for the Falcons were part of the Saints organization a couple of years ago, because we know the pipeline that's been headed that direction on the defensive side of the ball for the last 3 years. So big one. We'll certainly talk about it as the week progresses. Saints and Falcons noon on Fox this Sunday. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.